This is the script. The math does not care about your politics, the math does not care about your feelings, and as of 4 o'clock this morning, the math has officially stopped working. I am not talking about the stock market. That is a casino. I am talking about the plumbing. At 4 a.m. local time, a silent alarm went off in the back offices of the London maritime insurance market. Not a siren, a spreadsheet. The liquidity for risk coverage in the Black Sea didn't just spike. It vanished. It went no bid. For the first time in modern history, money cannot buy insurance for energy transit. Why? Because physics just collided with the Ponzi scheme. Two massive oil tankers, the Matilda and the Delta Harmony, are currently burning near the CPC terminal in the Black Sea. They were hit by drones. This is not a geopolitical skirmish. This is not a conflict. This is what the insiders are calling kinetic resource acquisition. The media will tell you this is a regional incident. They will tell you it is contained. They are lying. The fires on those decks are burning the last remnants of the globalized supply chain. The CPC terminal is a critical artery for non-Russian oil flowing into Europe. That artery has just been severed. The insurance algorithms looked at the burning hulls of the Matilda and the Delta Harmony, and they calculated the probability of safe passage. The result was 0. When insurance stops, ships stop. When ships stop, the oil stops. When the oil stops, the food stops. This is the butterfly effect. A drone strikes a hull in the Black Sea, and 3 weeks from now, the diesel pump at your local station runs dry. 6 weeks from now, the fertilizer doesn't get to the farm. 8 weeks from now, you are staring at an empty shelf where the bread used to be. The government knows this. They saw the data hit the wires before you woke up, and they are terrified. Not because of the oil, but because this event exposes the lie at the heart of the Western financial system. They have spent 50 years convincing you that paper money is wealth. They have printed trillions of dollars, euros, and pounds. They called it quantitative easing. They called it stimulus. They called it the Inflation Reduction Act. But you cannot print a barrel of oil. You cannot print a tanker ship. You cannot print the kinetic energy required to move 1,000 tons of grain across the ocean. We have entered the era of resource combat. The paper world is colliding with the physical world, and the paper is catching fire. The 60-40 portfolio is dead. The idea that you can hold 60% stocks and 40% bonds and retire at 65 is a mathematical impossibility. It was a luxury of the peace dividend, and the peace dividend just expired. Look at the bond market. The treasury market is supposed to be the risk-free asset, the bedrock. But when the world splits into two, the West with its paper derivatives and the East with its hard resources, who buys the debt of the nation that only exports inflation? Nobody. We are seeing a silent boycott of Western debt. The BRICS nations are not buying our bonds. They are buying gold. They are buying silver. They are buying oil fields. They are buying the physical reality while we trade digital illusions. And this brings us to the retirement trap. You have been promised a safety net. You have been told that if you work hard and contribute to the system will take care of you. That promise has been broken. The Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, the PBGC, is the entity that insures your pension when your company fails. Here's the secret they will not tell you on the evening news. The PBGC is effectively insolvent. It is a mathematical zombie. It cannot cover the wave of corporate defaults that is coming as interest rates stay high to fight this new energy inflation. So, what is their plan? They have a playbook. It is already written. It is called nationalization, but they will market it as protection. They will introduce the Guaranteed Retirement Account, or GRA. They will say that the stock market is too volatile for you. They will say that private 401ks are unsafe in this new world of war and resource scarcity. They will offer to swap your private assets for a government-guaranteed annuity. They will take your stocks, your bonds, your hard-earned savings, and they will give you a steady stream of dying dollars in return. Do not fall for it. It is not protection. It is confiscation. They need your capital to buy the treasury bonds that the rest of the world refuses to touch. They are using your retirement to bail out their bankrupt system. And they will use the weapon of means testing. This is the next phase. As inflation driven by these supply shocks destroys the budget, they will have to choose who gets paid. Social Security is not a savings account. It is an entitlement. And entitlements can be changed by an act of Congress. They will say, if you have a certain amount of assets, you do not need the full benefit. If you were prudent, if you saved, if you prepared, you will be punished. They will reduce your payout to subsidize those who did not. They will cloak this theft in the language of fairness. They will call it patriotic sacrifice. They will say it is for the greater good. It is the guise of compassion concealing the fist of tyranny. And while they strip mine your savings, they will gaslight you about the cost of living. Watch for the substitution mechanism. This is how they rig the CPI numbers. When the price of steak triples because the feed corn is stuck in a port that no insurance company will cover, they will take steak out of the inflation basket. They will replace it with hamburger. When hamburger doubles, they will replace it with chicken paste. When the chicken paste becomes too expensive, they will replace it with insect protein. And they will tell you inflation is low because the price of the bugs has remained stable. They are redefining your standard of living downwards to match their dying currency. This is the road to unretirement. We are about to see a tragedy unfold in every suburb and city. Men and women in their 70s, people with arthritis, people who should be resting, will be forced back into the workforce. Not because they want to, but because the math leaves them no choice. You will see grandmothers driving Ubers at 3 in the morning. You will see grandfathers bagging groceries for minimum wage. You will see the elderly competing with teenagers for entry-level jobs. This creates the generational war. The youth are already broke. They cannot afford houses. They cannot afford families. Now they see the older generation holding on to jobs, holding on to housing stock, and draining the tax base for medical care. The resentment will be palpable. The social contract is fraying. The government will fan these flames. They want the generations fighting each other, so you do not look up and see who actually stole the money. The bureaucrats, the printers, the Cantillon insiders who got the money first. So, what is the endgame? The government has two choices. It is a binary trap. Option 1, they stop printing money. They let the deflation happen. The stock market crashes 90%. The government defaults on its debt. Millions starve. Civil unrest consumes the cities. Option 2, they print. They print to pay the nominal value of the pensions. They print to pay the nominal value of the bonds. They print to subsidize the energy cost. They will choose option 2. They always choose option 2. They will print until the dollar is confetti. They will print until a loaf of bread costs a wheelbarrow of cash. They will keep the nominal numbers going up while the purchasing power crashes into the floor. This is why the drone strike in the Black Sea matters. It is the pin that pops the bubble. It forces the cost of physical goods to explode, which forces the printing press to run hotter, which destroys the currency faster. It is a death spiral, but there is an exit. There is a way to step out of the burning building before the roof collapses. The insiders know it. The central banks know it. That is why China is hoarding commodities. That is why the US Mint has suspended sales of silver. Did you catch that? The United States Mint, the facility responsible for producing the coinage of the global reserve currency, has stopped selling specific silver products. They called it a repricing evaluation. That is a lie. They stopped selling because they cannot source the metal. The suppliers, the mines in Mexico that have been nationalized, the refiners in Peru that have been shut down are not sending silver to Washington. They are sending it to Shanghai. They are sending it to the industrial giants like Tesla and Apple who need the metal for physics, not for finance. The West is running out of physical inventory. The COMEX inventory has dropped 70%. The shelves are bare. Silver is the antidote. Silver is not just a metal. It is solidified energy. It is the only financial asset that has no counterparty risk. If you hold a stock, you depend on the company. If you hold a bond, you depend on the government. If you hold cash in the bank, you depend on the solvency of the bank. If you hold silver, you depend on nothing but the laws of physics. Silver reprices your labor. When the dollar dies, Your labor, the hours of your life you traded for those green pieces of paper, is stolen. But if you trade those paper promises for silver, you lock in your labor. You freeze your energy and time. The price of silver on the screen is a fiction. They tell you it is $92. That is just a number. The real price is not for sale at this price. We are seeing backwardation. The spot price is higher than the futures price. That never happens in a healthy market. It means people want the metal now. They do not want a promise of metal next month. They know that next month, the metal might not be there. We are witnessing a bank run on the periodic table of elements. So what must you do? You must stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a survivor. Do not listen to the financial advisors telling you to buy the dip in the stock market. The market is not dipping, it is being liquidated. Do not listen to the politicians telling you the supply chain is healing. The supply chain is broken. The breakdown in the Red Sea and the Panama Canal is creating a permanent friction. The costs are never coming back down. You need to build your own supply chain. You need a pantry that looks like a store. You need water filtration. You need medicine. And you need to secure your wealth outside of the digital concentration camp. They are coming with a central bank digital currency, the CBDC. This is the final gate. When the cash collapses, they will offer the CBDC as the solution. They will say it is stable. They will say it is convenient. But it is a trap. It is programmable money. They can program it so you cannot buy gas if you have used your carbon allowance. They can program it so you cannot buy meat. They can program it so your savings expire if you do not spend them fast enough to stimulate the economy. If you hold your wealth in silver, you are invisible to their system. You are outside the fence. You can trade peer-to-peer. You can preserve your dignity. The window is closing. The drone strike in the Black Sea was the signal. The slow-motion stockout has begun. Look at your family. Look at your children. Look at your parents. The state will not save them. The state is the one drowning them. The PBGC is gone. The Social Security Trust Fund is a ledger of IOUs from a bankrupt treasury. The medical system is rationing care. The generational war is coming. The resource war is here. You have to be the central bank for your family. You have to be the logistics manager for your household. Do not wait for the official announcement. By the time they admit the currency has failed, the stores will be empty and the banks will be closed. The math has already determined the outcome. The fuse is burning. The tankers are burning. The era of paper is over. The era of things is back. Do not let them catch you holding the confetti when the music stops. Do not despair. Prepare. You are the safety.